Hey y'all, it's Kiani Nicole. I am coming at you guys today. Oop, I messed up my lipstick. Hold on. I am coming at y'all today with a video about how I failed my Hesi test twice. I am not proud of it, but I realized like where I messed up at. So hopefully this video can help you guys on like what not to do, because I did everything you're not supposed to do. I took my first test last year, I think around the summer. I had just come back from Miami, which was a horrible idea because I was partying, having fun. I had just did like a brain dump of everything, like chemistry, anatomy, math, like everything. It was out of my brain. I was not thinking about it. My friend who I took chemistry with, she had just taken the test, passed it, flying colors. She's actually in the nursing program now. She's doing great. Yeah, she told me it was easy, which I should have known it wasn't easy because math doesn't come to me. I am not good at math. Like, I am not good at math at all. Like, at all. Anyway, so I studied for like a week. Yeah, I studied for like a week. I was watching all these YouTube videos and they're like, oh, this is how I passed my Hesi test in a week with a 90. Bullshit, by the way. Anywho, I should stop cursing. But okay, these are the tips that I used. The first time I took my test, I only used Quizlet, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. And what else did I use? I just found a bunch of random like practice tests, anything that would give me like free math practice tests for the Hesi or free chemistry practice tests for the Hesi. And that didn't go so well. I never studied reading because I'm great at reading and English and like all that other stuff. So I didn't feel the need to study it. I wanted to really study the math and the chemistry. And yeah, I didn't study hard enough, or like my study methods weren't that great because I failed. Oh, by the way, I go to OSU, OKC in the state of Oklahoma. So yeah, the Hesi test only requires we take reading comprehension, like grammar, vocabulary, math, and chemistry. And so I thought it was just going to be like basic math because that's what I was told was just basic math. So I'm thinking multiplication, division, maybe some fractions, but it was a lot of conversions. So it's like, and ratios. So it was like converting this percentage into a fraction or into a mixed fraction, or taking this fraction and then converting it into a percentage, or like ratios of like this patient to that patient, et cetera, which I completely bombed that portion. And then for the chemistry, that subject just gives me like real bad anxiety. I don't know why. It's like I know the answers, but I always second guess myself, and I think that's where I mess up at. So for my reading comprehension, I passed with an 86%, which I was kind of bummed out about. I was really hoping for a 90. And then for the math, I passed with a 42. And then for the chemistry, I passed with a 68%, which I was shocked by, to be honest. I don't know why I was shocked. I just felt like I didn't do that great. I felt like my score would have been the same as my math, but it was actually better. So I was happy with it. I saw they show you where you fail at, or like what's your weakest points like while taking this test after you're done. And I think what messes up my nerves, because at my school when you take the test, after each subject they give you your results right away. So you will know like right after you take the math, like as soon as you click submit, it gives you like 5 seconds, and then it's like you failed or you passed, and then here's your grade. So I did my reading, I was in good spirits. I did my chemistry next, and I think that little boost of confidence was like just there. So I was doing probably good in the beginning. And then once the questions started getting hard, I started second guessing myself and doubting myself and going back and changing answers and stuff like that. And then once I got to my math, my confidence was like out the window. So yeah, I would say study your worst, like your worst subjects, like you know that you struggle with, study those the most, because I didn't do that. Well, I did, but I didn't do it how it should have been done. And so, yeah, I failed overall. I passed, like the overall score for my Hesi test, I had a 62 overall. And to get into the nursing program, I think it's like a 70 or 75% and above. So, yeah. And then my second time taking the Hesi test, that was in March. And you have to have 90 days in between each test until you can take it again. And I failed. And this time I was studying like hardcore. But again, I limited myself to only about 2 or 3 resources, which I think that's where I messed up at again. I paid for the Hesi A2 practice test pack on this website called Nurse Hub. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like don't use Nurse Hub. I would say don't make it your only resource, because I would do the practice test on there and I was getting like 90s, 80%, especially for the chemistry and the math. And I was just repeating it over and over and over again. And then I would do like flashcards on Quizlet, and I would do certain tests on Quizlet. And so there were a lot of conflicting answers sometimes, or like the verbiage was changed on what a proton or an atom might be. And me, I'm the type of person, I need everything the same. I need all my information the same, because I'm repeating it to myself. Like I learn with repetitiveness. And so I think that's where it was messing me up at. I also bought this Hesi A2 book. I'll put it somewhere in here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But the version that I purchased had a lot of grammatical errors and math errors. So I know I would be getting the right answer because, mind you, I've been studying for like 2 months. So, and I've learned different ways of converting and division and all that other stuff. So I was getting the wrong answer when I know it's the right answer. And so I would ask my friends, like, what is the answer to this? We're all getting the same answer, but the book has the wrong answer. So that was kind of like messing me up in the brain. And I focused mostly, for chemistry, I used Nurse Hub only. That's it, that's all. Because I felt like, you know, how could I fail using this practice pack that I paid for? Test day comes. I did worse on my reading because I completely neglected it altogether. Like I didn't read anything. So my score went from an 86% to an 82%. It's not a big difference, but I was still upset about it because I wanted to keep that 86. My math, actually, I went from a 42 to a 64%. And then my chemistry, I did worse. I went down to a 60 or 62%. So that upset me as well. And I cried in the car. I'm a crybaby. So I cried in the car and I was just super upset. And I'm like, you know, like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then it just took some time. I took a break. I stopped studying. And I kind of just like got myself together. But now that I'm back into it, I realized where I messed up at. I would sit all day, either in my room or in my living room on my couch, just studying all day. And so I wasn't really giving myself a break in between subjects. And I would either study math all day, study chemistry all day, or I would go back and forth between both, testing on both, which I feel like that's where I messed up at too. Because you need a break, you know, like studying is exhausting. I'm drinking coffee all day. And I'm just studying all day. And I don't think that's good for anybody. Like, don't stress yourself out like that. That was stressful. Like, I'm married, by the way, and I have a son. So I was hardly focusing on, like, you know, my life, my at-home life. Like, you know, I kind of left, like, the cooking and the cleaning to my husband, which, you know, that's not a big deal to me. Like, you can handle that. But still, it was out of my norm because I enjoy cooking and cleaning. Like, you know, I enjoy keeping my personal space in my home, my environment, how I like it, which keeps me in a good mood. So that was kind of like thrown off for me. And I just really wanted to like figure out what the hell I did wrong and what to do next. So I've now written down what I'm going to do. Hopefully it works. And then I can come back to you guys with an updated video on me passing my Hesi test, because your girl's tired and I want to be a nurse, but this mess is exhausting. And I'm so frustrated because I've taken anatomy, I have taken statistics, chemistry, all these other classes, and I did great. And so it's like, it upsets me because I'm like, this test is just so hard, but I know it's only the beginning. Like, this is really just a minor hurdle compared to actually taking the nursing courses. And then there's the NCLEX. So like, I'm not even finished yet, and it's just this one minor thing. So what I began doing is I'm training myself to wake up earlier in the day, you know, just stretch, get a peace of mind, eat breakfast, because I'm not a breakfast type of person, but I will do like small breakfast tacos or just eggs and bacon, something like that. And then I just like not make it seem like it's a job. Like, I actually want to take the time to learn the material, study the material, read it, etc., so that like I know where I'm messing up at. I am the type of person, I like to just rush through things. If I can learn as quick as possible just to get from point A to point B, I'm going to do that, even if I'm tripping and falling the entire time. At least I got to point B, and I don't want that. I want it to be smooth sailing. So yeah, I'm just like taking my time. I now study for like 2 hours max on one subject, and I take my time highlighting and taking notes. And then, you know, like, my thing is, can I explain this to my son? He is 7 years old. If I can explain it to him and he understands it, then I know that I'm doing something right. So that's my goal. And hopefully, you know, it gets better. Hopefully I pass. I'm not going to say hopefully. I'm going to speak that ish into existence, right? I'm going to pass. But yeah, take your time. Like, everybody has different study methods and everybody has their strengths in certain subjects. And mine has always been reading, comprehension, and vocabulary. But it doesn't mean like not to study it. Just because you're good at math doesn't mean don't study at math. Still brush up on it. Still make sure, like, you know, because there's going to be always like curveballs in there. And like chemistry, I don't know anybody good at chemistry. Well, except for my friend Victoria. Shout out to you, boo. But that mess is hard. So like, even if you pass with just a 70 or 72 or 75, you know, you did it, girl or boy, but you didn't. So don't doubt yourself. Be proud of yourself, because there are people like me struggling, but I'm gonna be like y'all. I'm gonna pass that itch. Okay, I'm trying not to curse so YouTube doesn't take down my video. But yeah, so don't binge study all day. I would definitely say don't like binge on coffee all day either. Drink your water, take a break, go for a walk, work out, stretch, you know, watch a funny video, or just like, you know, try not to sit in front of a computer all day. Go over your notes, read your notes back to yourself. Does this make sense? Because sometimes when we're taking notes, we just scribble, and then you go back and you're like, what the hell is this? Does it make sense to you? Can you explain it to somebody else who knows nothing about the topic? Like, you know? So those are my tips for you guys. It's really just me rambling. I wouldn't say tips, but these are, I didn't really see a lot of videos of people like failing their Hesi test. I've probably seen about a few of them. And I just want to tell you guys, don't get discouraged. Like, everybody fails. It's life. Don't doubt yourself. Everybody kept telling me to change my degree. Like, why would I wait all the way to the point where at my school, once you pass the Hesi, there's 5 nursing classes, 5. Why would I go through all of that, jump through all those hoops just to change my degree once it gets hard? And then I'm like, even if I change my degree, they still have tests too. Whether it's law or forensic science or psychology, sociology, there's still going to be a test that you have to take for people to know that you comprehend what you've learned throughout these years. And so why would I give up just to go through the same thing with another degree and waste more time? Like, I'm big on wasting time. It drives me crazy, but I'm just trying to tell myself nothing was a waste. Everything was a lesson learned. nothing was an accident, you know, like everything happens for a reason. And so maybe it wasn't my time to be in nursing school at that moment. And maybe now it is. So take your time, learn your material, study your material, make sure you understand what you're learning, and, you know, don't limit yourself to one resource. Like, don't just stick with one book. Get all the books. Okay, go to your library, check out all the books. Okay, don't pay for them. Go to the library or rent them. Nurse Hub, I would say use it for like reading comprehension, just in case, because, you know, there are a lot of the read this paragraph and like give me a summary of what you think this paragraph is about, or, you know, like the difference between there, and there, you know. So if you're not really good on English and vocabulary, I would say use Nurse Hub for that. Use Nurse Hub for math as well. It really like broke down ratios and percentages and fractions for me. I'm horrible at fractions and dividing. Like I'm okay with simple division, but like long division and then converting it into a fraction, I wasn't very good at that. Nurse Hub did their thing with that. So I would say use it for that. Don't limit yourself when it comes to chemistry. If you go to my school, I know different schools, you also have to take anatomy. We just only have to take 3 subjects. So I'm happy about that because one less thing for me to worry about, but definitely take your time. And I will be back later with another video. I'm about to do this bird's nest. So if you guys want to watch it, please check it out and subscribe. Thank you.